So while Ant's sorting that out and he's taking control of the reins, Napoli managed to sign that many players in the last week under everyone's noses. Like it was, there's rumors Ndombele, there's rumors Raspadori, and then there's rumors Simeone, and out of nowhere, bang, 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 like, they're Napoli players. Like my Serie A fantasy, half the players turned to Napoli, and I had to get rid of them because I had too many of them. I was like, what happened here? So, are they contenders for the Serie A this year if they can maintain it? Just going off the two games.
No.
And can you Eduardo's comment here, Leao's news? What happened?
There's
I'm a
news.
bit oblivious.
I said it a while back when these rumors started. If this was Inter with Suning's ownership, it would be all over every headline everywhere. Leao is the MVP of Serie A. There's no contract renewal. There's no date set for a discussion with Maldini or the other director's name. I keep forgetting whether it's Masada or Masari. It's probably Masada because that's too close to Mazzari. But like, if these rumors are true, the Milan fans online saying, there's no way that we'll sell him for less than 120, 150 million. These are fantasy figures. If any offer above 65, 70 comes in for Leao, they will take it. They will take it for sure. Leao wants to go to a bigger, flashier club. Milan is huge. Football-wise, it's tier one. Market-wise, it's not. Flash-wise, drip-wise, modern-day football-wise, it's still not. It's up there, but it's not PSG. It's not Real Madrid. It's not Manchester City. It's not Barcelona.
It's old news.
It's old news. Exactly right. It's not fresh. It's not fresh.
It's history. It's they were good in the 90s. They were good in the 80s, the early 2000s. But now you look, PSG, City, Dortmund, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, all these teams. They are the now teams.
Yes, and Leao's a now drippy sort of guy. So he wants to go. He wants to go where the Instagram posts and the Twitter posts are the hottest. So, Napoli contenders. Let's get to them in just a second because the first ones on the slideshow. I don't know if you boys saw this. Domenico Berardi had goal of the season contender already for Sassuolo. It would have been nice if he put 1/8 of the power behind the shot against North Macedonia into an open net that he did on this half volley from 30 yards out. This was a really, really good goal, but a really good goal. And he's just signed a new contract with Sassuolo as well. Mario, that's it for Berardi, man. For me, like, he probably should have taken a big move by now. He's had a couple of offers from Milan and Juve over the last 3-4 seasons, Napoli as well. But it looks like this guy's going to stay at Sassuolo for the rest of Serie A.
Yeah, unless Palermo get promoted, I reckon he'll be the front runner. And I'm not being a smartass. I just see him going to a club like Palermo and running right there. I know the question was directed at Mario, but
that's a fair point. I mean, I guess there's a few minority. When I say minority, it's like 3 people in the world that would actually like say, hey, like, I'm willing to go from a team like Sassuolo to an equally small or smaller team like Palermo or Monza or whatever, just to, be the guy. They want to be the guy, some of these guys. Like, if you put Berardi in a Real Madrid team, is he going to show up? No. He's going to fall and he's going to become Mauricio Isla. Signed by Juve, he played 3 games, sat on the bench for 15 years, won 25 trophies. I think he kind of understands that he I would hope. I mean, this is just me talking out of my, off the top of my head, my culo. So, like, what do I know? I'm not in the guy's head, but who knows? If he hasn't taken a big offer or contract from a big team by now, unless he wants to do like a Di Natale and stay with Sassuolo the whole time, good for him. That's probably what's going to happen. I don't think he's going to leave. He's going to be a one-club player because people idolize those kind of guys. He'll be a Sassuolo legend. He'll be known as the Di Natale of Sassuolo, the Totti of Sassuolo, the Maldini, the Zanetti. You can go on and on and on with all these players, which still aren't even that many. Like, okay, I'll give you a good one. The Tommaso Berni of Sassuolo.
Ranocchio.
No,
Look, I think Sassuolo as a whole, they bounced back well after their 3-0 loss to Juventus last week. They did beat Lecce 1-0. But this is the same Lecce that kept Inter on their toes for 90 minutes. And, that's no easy feat in when it comes to golf in experience in Serie A. So they have done well. Berardi, he should have left a couple of years ago. He hasn't. So I think with Sassuolo losing, it was a Raspadori. I don't really see them getting rid of
Scamacca.
him, and
They
Scamacca.
lost both. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really see them getting rid of him anytime
No.
soon.
No.
So it'll be quite interesting. But what do you guys? I know the topics are swallow, but they did beat Lecce. Did Lecce have it in them to stay up this year, just based off these two performances?
Well, there's 0 points from 2 games, so that's not the best start. They're going to struggle all season long. They don't have the squad to compete really. Like Falcone is a good goalkeeper, Colombo is a good forward, and Frabotta on loan from Juve is not too bad. But I just don't think they've got the quality really. They'll be battling it all season, right up until last match day for sure.
It comes down to what they want to do with the other small teams that are fighting for the relegation, lower mid-table teams. If they can steal a point from Inter, from Juve, from Roma, from whoever, it's huge for them. So that's really what they're playing for. They're not playing to win. They're not playing to. They're playing to steal points at this. Like they don't really have much to play for.
And they
So
almost did it as well in match day 1.
can they do it? I would hope so. I mean, I don't really hope bad on the kind of club like that they are.
As the season goes on, some of these sides will look at the calendar and go, like for example, I haven't got the calendar in front of me, but say Lecce were to look at their calendar and say, "Oh, we've got Inter, and then we've got Roma, and then we've got Spezia." We might rest players for the majority of the Inter and Roma game, knowing too well we can go full throttle and get 3 points against Spezia.
They've got
So those sort of
Empoli
relegation head-to-heads become huge.
They've got Empoli, then they've got Napoli, Torino, then they've got Monza, Salernitana, Cremonese.
That's their season right there.
You got to
That's
pick up
it.
points before the World Cup, man. You got
No,
to pick
but
up points before the World
that's
Cup.
honestly their season. They
That's
need
their
to
season.
get something from Empoli.
No, I don't think they do.
Then they've got 2 tougher games, but then they've got Monza, Salernitana, Cremonese. If they can't get 6 out of 9 points there, I'm ready to write them off. And that's what match day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, match day 8, and I'm ready to.
You can't write anybody off after what Salernitana did last season. But it's going to be tough, bro.
Salernitana bought a whole new team for the second half,
and a new manager and sporting director as well.
They had to, though.
Yeah, they did have.
They were forced into it. If Lecce doesn't have to, that it's just going to stay the same, and they might just fall into mediocrity. Yeah. So I think Salernitana is a really, really specific, isolated case because they were forced to
saying
sell.
What happened to Leicester will happen every year when they won the Premier League.
It's not going to happen.
It's not. But we've seen stranger things in Serie A.
We've seen very strange things.
This isn't the Premier League. This is the Serie A where anything's possible.
We saw Palermo in second place for half the season when they first got promoted.
Yeah.
Kiev were coming first after 18 rounds in like 2003, 2004. Yeah. I remember that. That was interesting. You know what else is interesting? Death, Taxes, and Chris Smalling at the back post. I love Chris Smalling, bro. What a don. What a don, bro. He was like one of the few players at Man United, like we spoke about before, that actually did get it under Mourinho. And that's why that Mourinho has left. He's gone, oh, yeah, I remember Chris Smalling. He actually works hard compared to the other athletes in the world these days. We'll just bring him back with me. I love Chris Smalling, man. And I like the fact that Roma have got 3 points again, boys, because they are going to continue to ride this wave of Mourinho, this wave of Dybala, this wave of hype. It's unfortunate that our good friend Adam is not here to join us for this podcast, but how you feeling, Mario, about Roma so far? 6 points out of 6. They got to be thinking that top 4 is a minimum expectation this season.
I like Roma this year. I hated them last year, as everyone should have, but everybody loved them for some reason when we did our podcast and all that bullshit. I was like, oh, Mourinho's going to save them. But then again, I was the same way with Allegri. So, let's all be on the same playing field. We even out, okay? So No, but
Yeah.
this year I like them. I think they brought in a good team. I think Mourinho in the second year is going to do damage because he has more of a team that he wants. He has the players that know his style now, and they know what he wants, what he demands, and he's going to take them and teach them what it takes to win and be successful. It's up to them to follow that at this point. Like he has Dybala, winner. He has Smalling, who is good because he's a Premier League player who learned how to play soccer once he came to Italy. It happened. We've seen it how many times now, and it's about to happen to Mkhitaryan too. I bet. Wouldn't be surprised. Actually, no. It already happened to him. He freaking was with Roma. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, any play for Mourinho. So Smalling is in like the perfect place right now to have the season of his life and probably be like contender for player of the season even if I was to even throw out a hot take like that. I like Roma this year. I think Tammy Abraham in his second year is going to be just as good.
Yep.
He's used to the league. He knows more Italian probably, I'd assume. He's got Dybala behind him. He doesn't have Zaniolo. He doesn't have Wijnaldum, but I still think that they have weapons around him that he can still be dangerous.
Yeah. Side question for you, Bruno. So we're not lingering on each game too long. Next week, Juve versus Roma. Who do you fancy?
I fancy Roma. I really do. I think Mourinho's mentality going into the game. A lot of, you go back 2 seasons and you say Zaniolo injured, Roma's out for a couple of weeks until Zaniolo
No.
returns. But this isn't that same team. And Zaniolo came out straight away and he said he's put a photo on his Instagram saying a few weeks to all the haters or something like that. Just showing, the man who's supposedly leaving the club, according to Italian media. So just shows where they're at. But I do really like Roma and the way they've been built this season. They're deadly. And, Smalling and Dybala are fantastic additions to the squad, which was already great. And he got rid of some dead wood in Mkhitaryan and sent him, Inter's way. And he replaced them with better players. And that's what a great manager does. And we've seen what Mourinho's capable of in Italy. At Inter, so it wouldn't surprise me. But once we get to Juve, we'll talk about Juve, but they're just in a different world at the moment.
It's also worth stating that last season, the comeback, the 4-3 win for Juve against Roma, Mourinho said in his post-match conference, he said, we lost the game because they were up 3-1. He goes, we lost the game when we were still winning 3-2 because you can't concede a goal against Juve and their mentality at that point of the game when our mentality is where it's at. So you best believe he's going to go into this game and tell them if there is a team that you cannot let your guard down against, it's going to be Juventus. So hopefully they do come away with something. Now, I'm going to go over to Mario to throw it off. There is no way I'm going to let it take as long this season for me to pronounce this guy's last name as it did for me to pronounce Sombongisa. I was calling him Anguissa for up until matchday 1920.
Zambo.
But I now, Zombongisa. I know how to say it really well, but there is absolutely no way I'm giving this guy's name a crack yet. It's 2 weeks in a row. My goal is to be able to say his name by next roundtable. Can you?
Kawada. I don't even know what his last name is, honestly. I just saw it.
I'm just going for Kavachala, something like that, man. But I'm going to have to go back and listen to Patrick Kendrick on commentating the game. I think that's who was covering it for Serie A this week. But what a start he has made, man. What a start. What an upgrade on what is now looking like a slow, outdated Lorenzo Insigne, man. It's a huge upgrade at 21 years of age, the Georgian footballer. This is going to be a guy. He's got 3 goals in 2 games. This is going to be a guy that helps Napoli a lot this season. What are you saying, boys? What are you saying, Mario?
I like Napoli this year. I liked them last year. I think that Spalletti is still the right man for this team. I don't think the thing with them is I don't think they have what it takes to push for the Scudetto yet. I think maybe next year we'll see them pushing for that first position. I think this year they're playing for second, third, which is still it's still a really good position for them because they got rid of Mertens, Petagna, Fabian Ruiz, Osimhen, The keeper.
Wait, did you just say Osimhen? They did get rid of
Oh, sorry,
Osimhen.
Koulibaly. Yeah,
Koulibaly, yeah. They
yeah,
got rid of Mertens, but like with Insigne and Mertens, those players had to leave. They had
yeah,
to leave. They had to leave, man. Like I didn't like the idea of all their leaders leaving at once, but going forward, you just got to really trust the present moment because
yeah.
Insigne playing for Toronto and Mertens. Where did Mertens even end up going? France?
TikTok.
Maybe.
Oh my God,
Did
I
he
was.
go to? Did he go to France?
I don't. I forgot. I was looking at it.
Oh no, he went to Galatasaray. That's right.
Yes,
Really
yes,
good.
yes, yes.
Good move. I like Galatasaray. I should
Yeah,
have known that.
yeah, yeah.
I like Galatasaray.
I hate that they just sold everybody at once. I think that's demoralizing, but at the same time, it gives the players confidence because they're like, okay, I have to step up now. Mario Rui, I think he's a great left back. He has to step up. Di Lorenzo has to be a leader now because national team player, local boy, whatever. He has to step up. The midfield of Lobatka, who's actually really good, Zielinski, who's a great player, inconsistent but great, and Zambonggisa, good, probably their best signing last season.
Yeah.
And they added Ndombele also
Yeah.
from Tottenham. So
Did you even talk about how they added Giovanni Simeone as well?
no, I didn't even get there yet. Simeone, the door, Kakakaladze on the left side, Lozano's still on the right side. I think they have a good team. I think they have a young, good, confident team, and it showed in their first couple of games. The first game they won 4-0. What was it?
I think they won 4-2 against Verona in
5-2.
Verona, and then they won
5-2.
4-0. 5-2, yeah, then
5-2,
they won
and
4-0.
they played an excellent game. And Verona's a team that they would lose points to. The second game, what was it? 1-0, 2-0,
4-0.
4-0.
4. Sorry,
They
yeah,
scored
that's
9
what I was
goals in
thinking.
2 games.
Yeah, they look good. I don't know how good they'll look against like the Inter, the Juve, Roma, Milan. That's where I need to see what it is. But like I say for Inter, but winning those games aren't going to win you the league. Taking a dump on Verona and who they play this weekend?
They
Monza.
played Monza.
And Monza, that's where you win the league. You're going to win the league winning these games. And if they win these games, steal points from a couple games against the top four, you're pushing for a scudetto, and
Mm.
hopefully they can do that because I like watching Napoli. I think I'm their biggest fan. I'm the biggest Napoli fan in the world, but I don't think they're going to push for the first yet. I think next year they clean up. They might even clean up the league. Honestly.
Yeah, fair
Oh,
call.
look,
Good.
I think they've done
Oh,
well.
this guy, the center back,
He's
he's
good.
also top
Very
tier.
good.
Yeah.
I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I look, I think losing the players they did, um, we didn't know it, but they removed the cancer within the squad. You know, Koulibaly maybe is the outlier here, but when you had Insigne and Mertens and they just could not
They
string
couldn't
something
score.
together properly, um, they didn't know it at the time, but they removed the cancer within the squad because they've just reformed. And, you know, they sent Patania out on loan to
Monza.
Monza, I believe. And you know they're sending their younger players to get experience, but at the same time they've reinforced and they've created something amazing with this squad. But I think you're on the ball when you say they're not going to compete for a scudetto, but at the same time they're going to be causing problems and they should be easily in that top four.
Well said. How bad is Ranocchia for Monza Frog's injury? He's going to miss at least 3 to 4 games, man. He's been ruled out of Roma, and to be honest, it did look a little bit worse than that. So I have a feeling that he's going to be out for a
They got
while.
Raspadori too.
They got
Yeah.
Raspadori as well, yeah.
So
Now they got the depth. They finally got the quality and depth that they need. This is Spalletti's best looking squad since he finished runner-up to Inter in his Roma side. This is his best looking squad since that squad with De Rossi and Totti and Dzeko in it, man. Has to be.
for sure.
I think it had Dzeko in it. I don't know. Can't remember. Who's
I
next?
need my question was always in their midfield, their center midfield, because last year they lost a couple guys and they were scrambling. Lobatka they had to play out of form,
Yeah.
and eventually he found his form towards the end of the season, and they were like, "Wow, this guy's great." And I was like, "Yeah, he was good in freaking Germany when you guys signed him. Like, a lot of people wanted this guy for a reason. Sure, he had a little bit of a chubby stomach, but whatever. He worked with it. It was deceiving, and he figured it out. And now this season, in the 2 games we watched, he's been one of their best, if not their best player."
Yeah, fair enough. Let's move on to Inter. Nice and quick. We don't need to cover Inter too long on this show. We never do because we do a lot of it on Inter Worldwide. 3-0 against Spezia. The combination of Lautaro and Lukaku is back. I'm not tooting horns or anything because you need to be able to beat Spezia's if you're going to go on to do things like challenge and win the league. But this team probably looks the most jointed, fluid-wise on the pitch out of anyone in Serie A at the moment. I don't think anyone will disagree with that. It's only going to take a couple of bad games and a bad spell to break that sort of combination. But at the moment, the question I keep asking myself is, Anthony, which player in Inter is currently out of form? Which player at Inter is currently underperforming? And the actual real answer to that is zero. There is not an underperforming player in this team at the moment. You could argue give or take. There's a little bit in one or two players, but there is pretty much not a single player on this team that is not performing the actual role that they are meant to be doing in a club to a degree. 6 points out of 6. We'll go to Bruno quickly first and then Mario, and then we'll move on to Milan straight away. You're muted, Bruno.
Look, I think you hit the nail on the head, spot on. They got 3 points against Lecce. They got 3 points against Spezia. These are 6 points which they should be getting with their eyes closed. With the caliber of players that they've got there, I think bringing on Lukaku into the squad has been a fantastic move. At the same time, keeping Dzeko and Correa as backups is also a very good move. Euro chance in the chat. Gossens too. He needs time to adjust. I don't think he's underperforming. I think he's still learning in this Inter squad, and I think that's the big difference people need to. I think that's the big thing people need to realize when it comes to players like Gossens. He's not playing bad. He's just still learning the ways of Inter. But this squad, and comfortably up 2-0, takes off both Martinez and Lukaku to bring on Dzeko and Correa, and they still keep adding to the tally. You weren't here, Ant, but I was saying that's the best thing Inzaghi and Marotta have done for this club, in the sense of they kept Correa, they kept the Dzeko, and Inzaghi's rotating them adequately. So he's getting both the quality players to score the goals, but he's bringing them on to rest, Lukaku and Martinez, where you won't see them burning out like they did last season.
Yep. Pretty much, man. Mario, what are you saying? Simone Inzaghi has had to put up with a little bit in the back room, man. He's had to put up with a lot of media scrutiny, but he's doing a job very well.
Yeah. Just to kind of add to what Bruno was saying before about Lukaku being added in the depth. This is something we missed last year because we didn't really have. Maybe we did, but it wasn't the same. We didn't have that. Actually, no. For the first, we didn't have the depth at striker. We had not Pinamont, the other guy, Esposito. No,
Esposito or Satriano.
We had Satriano last year as our fourth striker.
Well, not until we sent him on loan to was it Brest?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But we had Dzeko, Lautaro, and then
Alexis Sanchez,
Correa, and Sanchez. Yeah, true. So we did have the depth, but I feel more confident with these four, with Dzeko coming off the bench, with Correa coming off the bench when he's fit.
Dzeko is a timeless player, man. Dzeko's ability is one of those that does not fade quickly, man. And that's a big reason why, like, if he didn't stay at Inter, I believe the rumors that Juventus asked about him. I even believe the rumors that Carlo Ancelotti put his hand up and went, can we get Dzeko on a free? Like, that's a timeless sort of player, man. And to have him on your bench ready to go for 20 fresh minutes, different ball game than asking him to play 94 and drop back and pick the ball up in a number 10 role half the time.
Like I said last year, I was like, Dzeko's a good player to have. I don't care how old he is, how many minutes he's playing. I didn't really care too much about it because I was like, this guy is elite. He's gonna be fit. He's gonna put in the time. He's gonna play 90 minute after 90 minute after 90 minute, and still give you more or less good performances. And he did up until up until we all fell apart. It wasn't just Deco falling apart when we were in our rut from January until till March. It was literally everybody because you can't blame it on him, right? It's
Yeah.
a team. Lautaro wasn't scoring that much. The midfield was okay. The defense was making mistakes. We weren't winning games, and you can't blame one person for that. Um, yeah, this Zaki subs they do need some
A
work.
beautiful image there.
Played well, man. When we did our preview, Bruno, you got the scoreline right, but I got the score sheet right, man. Like Hakan grabbed a goal. I knew he was gonna grab a goal. The guy does not want to look like a bitch. Sorry, lack of a better term. He does not want to look like a bitch. He
Yeah.
wants to look like a high-performing athlete, a successful athlete. That guy, Bruce di Culo, man, is still burning about Milan and Ibra and literally, sorry for my language, being called figlio di puttana in front of the entire city on the Milan team bus. The guy got put in a spliff and smoked by the red and black half of Milan, and he needs a big season to come back. Hakan, for me, had about a 6.8 6.9 season for Inter last season. He's going to have a bigger one this season, I reckon,
I
Mario.
would say he's in like the sevens because
Yeah.
for most of the season he was consistent until the whole team fell apart. Like the beginning of the season,
Yes.
he was our best player. The end of the season, he turned it up again.
Yeah, he
But
did.
like I don't, I think he was better than the optics gave him because there was how many times did we praise him on the podcast? Almost more often than not.
Put it this way: we did we praise Barella as much as we praised Hakan
No,
last season? No. Did we
no,
praise? Did we even praise Brozovic as much as we praised
no.
Hakan last season?
Brozovic maybe.
Mm,
Brozovic is he's always been good. He's always, but I don't think we need to tell you that. You know,
yeah.
it's more of a
Hakan
universally thing.
Hakan had, I think it was December into January, where there was 5 or 6 games where they were consistent tens, and he
Hmm.
was scoring, he was dominant, and he was consistent,
Yeah.
and he was just the most talked about team. And I think even FIFA had him as Serie A Player of the Month
Yeah.
twice,
Yeah.
in
He
game.
was good last year. I would give him a little bit.
I
Me,
just think he sort of shot
If we,
himself in the
you're
foot with the
right.
comments he
yeah.
made.
You're right, because if we won the Scudetto, we'd be sitting here talking about how we had an 8 out of 10 first
Hmm.
season. So
Anyway,
you are right.
we talk
Anyway,
about Inter a bit too much. Let's move on. AC
Milan dropped
Milan.
points. Milan dropped points. That's the headline. Milan dropped points. Although
Yeah.
a trip to Bergamo is not easy. However, they didn't play that well. But someone Mario and I have always bigged up scored again. Bro, Malinowski would walk headfirst into why is this guy not playing for Real Madrid? Why is the guy not playing for Barcelona?
He's
Like
leaving now, isn't
honestly,
he?
huh?
He's
Yeah,
leaving
he's
now.
leaving. He's still supposed to be
Thank
leaving. Anyway,
God.
that guy, man, he is just going to score against every team when you let him take half a second on the ball to line up a shot. He makes it 1-0. Benacer scores an equally as good goal in this game, I must say, to make it 1-1. It was an absolute cracker from Benacer.
He reminds me of
But
Recoba.
he does a little bit, doesn't he?
Left foot can score from anywhere, and it's not just going to be like a bullshit kind of like tap in or like a
Mm,
one-on-one with a goalie. He's going to rip it from 20 yards out, and it's going to be upper 90. It's going to go all over the place. It's going to dip, curl, outside, curve. He's
mm.
going to make it nice.
Now, for a title winning side, it's a very inactive market in the grand scheme of things. And I know that not just by watching the market, but by watching the Milan fans reacting on social media as well, especially after this result. I think that they needed to be a little bit more active in this market and just be a little bit more aggressive because the whole rumors of them being injected with such a big amount of money, 300 million, I don't think it was really true. I think there was a lot more going on in the background than just a buyout from this group. I don't know if Bruno can shed more light, but they looked a little stale. They missed out on a couple of big transfer targets. I still think they'll win more than enough games to make the top 4 this season, but I'm not too sure that they can repeat the heroics and challenge for the league. That could be my famous last words. I think I had them in 4th last season, to be honest, before they won the league. So don't listen to what I say, but just going off what I see, they just didn't look too fluid, Bruno.
Look, I think you hit the nail on the head. Milan dropped points, but at the same time, it's one of those things where this team has the momentum and they've got the capability to stand out against everyone. And we saw it last season where The loss of Ibra was something massive, but he motivated them more from the sheds than what he did on the pitch. Giroud, this guy, he's come out of nowhere, and he was a catalyst for their Scudetto run at the back end of the season. We kept saying Milan are going to drop points. Milan are going to drop points. They never did. Losing Kesse was massive. Losing Liao will be even bigger for them. So
Yeah.
if they can manage to keep him until the end of this season, I do think they will be keeping their one hand on the Scudetto. But at the same time, winning one is tough in Italy. Winning two in a row is even harder. And it doesn't matter if you've got the best squad. It's the squad who plays better on the pitch. And I think that's what we saw last season with AC Milan. They weren't the best squad, but when it came to game day, they knew what to do. And that's why, a lot of people didn't have them as their winners. This is just a little hiccup on the road for them. I think ultimately they're going to run away. They're going to continue to contend. And Ibra's coming back. We can almost guarantee he'll be on that pitch again. And that's just a different element to their game. Inter, they've had an easier run to start with.
Yeah.
But you'll see where AC Milan are at. I think it's Matchday 5 where they have the derby. And I think
cool.
you'll learn a lot about both teams come derby day.
Well said. Let's pump through the rest of these games. There's your boy Vecino there in a pretty boring board draw 0-0. I was going to go back and watch it after the Inter game, but Uncle Sharma said don't go back and watch it, and I'm glad I didn't because apparently it was absolute trash. I watched the extended highlights, but a disappointing result really for both sides, more so for Sardi's Lazio. They're going to, for lack of a better league, I think this Lazio team is not bad. This Lazio team does not play bad football. What it is it's exactly where it needs to be in this league. It's just not as good as a few other sides. And there aren't as many goals as Ciro Immobile can score this season, Mario, to bail them out of a top 4 fight because they'll be in one. I don't know if they'll get it, but they can't win Serie A. Lazio can't win Serie A.
No shot. They had their chance a couple of years ago, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was their one and done. They're not the same team. They're not going to be the same team. Sarri he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong, but
he is a good coach. He is a good coach.
But I think this is an adventure that it's just beginning for him. If that makes more sense.
I was just going to say, I mentioned it in the roundtable last week. Discipline is going to be a massive thing when it comes to this season. Players are going to be missing big games. The likes of Ciro Immobile, this is the second week in a row where he's gotten a yellow card, I think in the 90th plus minute. After last week was the 91st minute. This week was the 94th minute, and I think it was after 90 minutes, Lazari, Milinkovic-Savic, and Immobile all picked up a yellow. When you're picking up yellows that late in the game, it's for one reason, and that is frustration. Extreme frustration. And Immobile is a player Lazio will struggle without. And if he's on 2 yellow cards after 2 games, he's going to be missing 3 or 4 games due to suspension, the rate he's going at. So discipline is going to be critical for this Lazio team, and they really got to mature because I do feel this team is capable of competing. They definitely should be in Europa League. They should be ultimately contending for Champions League or causing problems, not be out of the running, before the season is halfway through.
There's still so long to go, man. There'll be moments this season where you look at Lazio.
It's still so long to go. But the point I'm trying to make is 2 yellow cards after 2 games for the most prolific striker at Lazio in Immobile is not a good sign for things to come. When the rate he's going, he's going to be missing match day 6. He's going to be missing match day 11, match day 16. If you're picking up a yellow card a game, that's the way it's going. And you're a striker, you shouldn't be getting yellows this often.
No.
Fair enough. I mean, Juventus dropped points. 0-0 against Sampdoria. It was not a good game. This guy had 8 touches altogether in the game, 3 of them inside the box. It was not a good look for him at all. The the passages of play under Allegri are just stale. Allegri's football is just stale. I'm seeing a lot of fans starting to turn on him already. At the end of the day, it is Juve. They'll remain my favorite until I see them lose or drop enough points to suggest that you can't actually pick up enough form to recover from here. And that's what happened last season. Like, it got to a point where they were starting to sneak up close by, and there was the only split moment where I thought they could overtake Inter was on Matchday 33 when we played them head-to-head in Turin, and they could finally jump us. But other than that, they didn't improve enough on the pitch last season to threaten. And at the moment, unless their transfers hit, and I mean hit well, they can't improve. And guess what? So far, their two major transfers have not just hit not well, they have hit disastrously. And I know Angel Di Maria's goal is fantastic. I know he's a world-class player, but he played one game, boys. He's injured. Paul Pogba had 2 training sessions. He's out until December, where he will play the World Cup, and he will either A, get re-injured, or B, not get injured and opt to have surgery and fulfill the surgery into the next phase of next year. Juventus will pay him almost 7 million euros before he kicks a ball for them this season. It's not the best look. I don't like talking about it too much, though, but listen to me.
Yeah, look, I think you said it, and it was spot on. Allegri is the issue, and his comments after the Sum game, and I've just got it up here on my phone. Speaking about formation always makes me laugh. Playing football is very simple. You need to pass the ball to the man wearing the same shirt as you. That does not sound like a manager.
He's taking
Sounds
the
like a
piss
president.
now, bro. He's
That
taking
sounds
the
like a
piss
president.
now.
He sounds like a politician. He sounds like a politician. He sounds like he's trying to appease everyone. You're managing a football squad. Without structure, you have anarchy. If you're the coach, ultimately you're leading this squad, and if you can't tell them where they need to be, they're not going to perform. And by making comments like that, it just undermines the legacy of Juventus. And I know we don't like saying it, but this club is the biggest club in Italy. They've got the biggest legacy. And when you've got a manager like that making comments like that, it's worrying. If I was a Juventus fan, a Juventino, I would be quite worried. As a Serie A fan, it's enjoyable because you like to see Goliath fall.
Yeah. Kostic played well, though. He was one of their few players that played well. But once again, just playing in a system that he's going to have to grow into more than not. It's going to get tougher before it gets easier. And they've got a fair few players that will go to the World Cup. In fact, a fair few players that will go to the World Cup. So, watch this space. As I just said, points before the World Cup, vital for the bigger teams. After the World Cup, though, it becomes a free-for-all for teams in mid-table and the bottom half if they could pick up some points for teams that were injured. Disappointing result for Vincenzo Italiano and his men, 0-0 for Fiorentina and Matteo Destro's Empoli. It wasn't that bad of a game, though. There was a few back and forth, Jules, but they need to pick up better points than that this season. I just wanted to get Mario's quick 1-minute opinion. Where do you think Fiorentina will finish on the ladder this season?
5th or 6th. I like them this year. I think they put together a really good team.
Nice. That Jovic, can he do the job that Vlahovic did? Yes. I don't know, man.
Better.
Yes?
Better.
Yeah, you as well, Bruno.
I think they actually have a team around him to make him succeed.
Fair enough.
I don't like. There's Vlahovic.
Do you think he was overpriced at 75 M's?
Big time. I don't like him. I don't like him like that. I don't think he's that good of a player. I think he could be good. Age aside, 21, 22, whatever, I get it. I don't think he has it yet. Does that make sense? Like
100%.
He's very inconsistent for my liking. Like, he'll show up and play the best game of his life. He'll be Serie A top player of the week, but then go missing. And then when he's missing. He like 6 touches at Juve missing, like, consistently.
And for that price tag, those are the price tags where you're not meant to ever go missing. Or if you do, you come back and you don't go missing again for a few months.
Mm-hmm. I said the same thing about Osimhen. I was like, okay, 80 million, but like, you're not signing him to be good in 3-4 years. You're signing to be good now. You're not signing. And the guy got hurt. He was suspended. He was injured, and he played like 10 games in the first season. And they're like, oh no, it's fine. He had the most goals on if the game was 45 minutes long and every game was played in Napoli. He was the best player ever. I was like, no, you lost this transfer so far in my eyes.
Fair enough. All right, thanks, boys. I'll finish off Serie A. Bologna 1, Verona 1. Orsolini had a really funny red card after having a goal disallowed as well, and Henry scored, I'm pretty sure, for Verona. If you guys are listening now or listening back, there is a funny moment from Verona last week. There was a goal scored and Lasagna gets punched in the face. So go and see that in the celebration. It's actually quite funny. 1 point each for Verona and Bologna. Arnautovic grabbing another goal for Bologna as well. He's just going to continue to stat pad his way to another good season. How can you not like him at the end of the day? Treble winner for Inter. Only player to be celebrating in that crowd with the trophy without a jersey on. And there was one other player that was doing that. Do you know who it was?
Quaresma.
Yes. Straight away. Did not even have to wait for that. Board draw. Worst game of the round goes to Salernitana 0, Udinese 0. Nothing much to say. Deulofeu had a stinker. It's only worth noting that Candyman Candreva is playing for Salernitana this season, in case anybody did not know. Follow Antonio Candreva. He's an absolute legend. Yeah, I know you didn't know that. Don't worry. I didn't know until Matchday 1. Until I saw the lineups. I'm like, oh, all right.
I was watching the Sampdoria game the other day, and I could have swore I saw him.
No, you didn't. All right, that's it for Serie A. Thanks, Bruno, for letting me jump in.
No problems. We will quickly touch on Ligue 1 of France. It's all about PSG. I think they won 7-1 against former champs Lille on the weekend with Mbappe scoring